The fork hit the marble floor. Nobody moved to pick it up. Naira Vale's hands trembled as she stood frozen in the center of Meridian Prime's main dining room, a silver tray balanced against her hip. The woman at table 7 didn't even look up. Just flicked her wrist like she was swatting a fly. "Another one," the woman said. "And this time, make sure it's actually clean." Naira bent down. Her knees cracked. Fourth double shift this week. Her feet felt like they were walking on broken glass. The fork wasn't dirty. It never was. Around her, the restaurant hummed with the quiet violence of wealth. Crystal glasses caught the light from the Hudson River outside. Conversations floated in low tones, decisions worth millions made between bites of $40 appetizers. Nobody raised their voice here. They didn't have to. Naira picked up the fork and walked back toward the kitchen, her reflection sharp in the white marble beneath her feet. She looked tired. Older than 28. The kind of tired that came from carrying too much and showing nothing. "Hi friend, before we continue the story, kindly tell us where are you watching from? And hit that subscribe button now for you to get more, and I have something new for you tomorrow. Stay tuned. Thanks. Let's continue." She pushed through the swinging doors into the back. Stainless steel. Bright lights. The clatter of plates and the hiss of water. Her phone buzzed in her apron. 3 missed calls. All from the same number. Mount Sinai Pediatric Oncology. Her stomach dropped. Not now. She couldn't deal with this now. She had 6 more tables. 3 hours left on her shift. If she stepped away, if she even looked distracted, Graves would notice. Graves Ardent. Chief Operating Officer. The man who decided who stayed and who got erased. She shoved the phone deeper into her apron and grabbed a clean fork. When she returned to table 7, the woman was gone. Just a half-eaten salad and a $5 tip on a $120 check. Naira pocketed the cash and turned. That's when she saw him. Corner table. Near the window. A man in a frayed gray jacket and scuffed work boots, sitting with his hands folded like he was waiting for something. He didn't belong here. Everything about him screamed wrong. The clothes. The posture. The way he looked at the room like he was measuring it. She walked over. "Good evening," she said softly. "I'm Naira. What can I get for you tonight?" The man looked up. His eyes were sharp. Calm. Watching. "Just water," he said. "And fries." Naira blinked. Water and fries. In a restaurant where the cheapest entree cost $60. Behind her, she heard it. The snort. The low laugh rippling through the room. A man in a tailored suit leaned toward his companion. Did he think this was a diner? Another voice. Maybe he's lost. The man in the jacket didn't react. Didn't flinch. Just sat there, waiting. Naira felt the room shift. The air got colder. Every eye that mattered was watching now. Watching her. Watching him. Waiting to see what she would do. She could walk away. Get a manager. Let someone else handle this. But something stopped her. The way he sat. Like he'd been tested before. Like he knew exactly what was happening. "Of course," Naira said. "I'll be right back." She turned and walked toward the kitchen. And that was the moment everything began to unravel. What did Naira just do that's about to destroy a billion-dollar empire? Naira leaned against the steel counter in the back and pressed her palms into her eyes. Her phone was buzzing again. She pulled it out. The screen lit up with notifications. For missed calls now. 1 voicemail. She pressed play. "Ms. Vale, this is Dr. Okoye from Mount Sinai Pediatric Oncology. We need to speak with you urgently about your brother Zev's latest test results. Please call us back as soon as possible. The words hit her like a punch. Zev. 13 years old. Smart. Funny. Obsessed with black holes and Neil deGrasse Tyson. 2 months ago, he collapsed during gym class. Acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Stage 3. No insurance. No savings. Just Naira. Every shift she worked here bought him one more day. Every tip mattered. Every smile she forced. Every humiliation she swallowed. If she lost this job, he would lose his chance. She closed her eyes and saw him. Hospital bed. 2 thin arms. That stupid grin he still tried to flash when she walked in, like he wasn't scared. Like he wasn't dying. Her hand shook as she put the phone away. Not now. She couldn't break now. She grabbed a basket, loaded it with fries, and walked back out. The man in the jacket was still sitting there. Still calm. Still watching. When she set the fries down in front of him, he looked up. "Thank you," he said. No sarcasm. No shame. Just gratitude. Naira hesitated. "You don't have to thank me for doing my job." He smiled faintly. Most people don't do it kindly. Something about him unsettled her. Not his clothes. Not his order. His stillness. Like he was waiting for something specific to happen. Before she could respond, a shadow fell over the table. Graves Ardent. Tall. Perfectly tailored suit. Hair slicked back like a Wall Street predator. He stood there with his arms crossed, looking down at the man like he was a stain. "Sir," Graves said, voice cold and sharp. "This is a private establishment." The man met his eyes. "I'm a customer." Graves glanced at the fries. "You ordered water and fries. So. This isn't a charity kitchen." The room went quiet. Naira felt her pulse spike. Every guest was watching now. Silverware had stopped moving. Conversations had stopped. Graves turned to her. His smile was thin. "Dangerous. Why did you serve him?" "Because he's human," she wanted to say. Instead, she said, "He asked." Graves tilted his head. "You don't serve charity cases here, Naira. You know that." The man in the jacket stood slowly. "I'll leave if that's what you want." Graves waved his hand dismissively. "Oh no. Stay. I want everyone to see what happens when people don't know their place." Naira's throat tightened. The man looked at her. Just for a second. And in that look, she saw something she didn't understand yet. Control. Like he'd been waiting for this exact moment. Why isn't he scared? The man sat back down. Graves didn't move. He stood there, hands in his pockets, smiling like a shark. Around them, the restaurant had become a theater. Guests leaned in. Phones stayed down, but eyes stayed locked. This was entertainment now. Naira felt the weight of it pressing on her chest. Graves turned to the room. "Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the disruption. We have standards here at Meridian Prime. Standards that keep this experience exceptional for all of you." A few people nodded. One woman whispered to her husband. Graves looked back at the man. "So let me ask you. What do you do for a living?" The man picked up a fry. Took a bite. Chewed slowly. "I work," he said. "Doing what?" "Managing things." Graves laughed. "Managing things. Right. And you thought you'd come here, to one of New York's finest restaurants, and order fries?" The man nodded. "That's correct." Naira watched his face. No anger. No embarrassment. Just calm. "Who is this guy?" Graves gestured to security. Two men in black suits stepped forward from the corners of the room. "I think it's time for you to leave," Graves said. Naira's heart dropped. She stepped forward. "He didn't do anything wrong." Graves turned to her slowly. "Excuse me. He's a paying customer. He ordered food. I served him. That's how restaurants work." The room gasped. Graves' smile disappeared. "Are you his lawyer now?" "I'm his server. And I'm your boss." The words hung in the air like a blade. Naira felt the floor tilt beneath her. She knew what this meant. Talking back. Defending a customer who didn't fit. This was how people got fired. And if she got fired, Zev would die. Graves stepped closer to her. "You're causing a scene, Naira." "I'm doing my job." "No," Graves said softly. "You're disrupting service." He turned to the room again. "This woman is making our guests uncomfortable. I think we all agree she's out of line." A few heads nodded. Of course they did. She was poor. He was powerful. The math was simple. Naira felt her hands start to shake. Not from fear. From rage. The man in the jacket stood again. This time, he looked directly at Graves. "What's your name?" the man asked. Graves blinked. "What? Your name. I want to know who I'm dealing with." Graves straightened. "Graves Ardent. Chief Operating Officer of Meridian Prime and the entire Rourke Hospitality Group." The man nodded slowly. "Interesting." Something in his tone made Graves hesitate. The man reached into his jacket. And pulled out a black card. "What is that card about to do to this entire room?" Graves stared at the card. It wasn't a credit card. It was matte black. No numbers. Just a logo embossed in silver. A logo Graves knew. His face went pale. The man set the card on the table. "My name is Selim Rourke." The room froze. Selim Rourke. Founder and CEO of Rourke Hospitality Group. Owner of Meridian Prime and 11 other luxury restaurants across New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Miami, Boston, Seattle, Dallas, and Washington, D.C. Net worth $38 billion. And he'd been sitting in a corner booth. In work boots. Ordering fries. Graves took a step back. "Sir, Selim raised a hand. "Don't." His voice was quiet. But it cut through the room like a knife. He looked at Naira. "You served me with respect." She nodded, unable to speak. He looked at Graves. "You didn't." Graves' mouth opened and closed. "I didn't know." "Exactly," Selim said. "You didn't know. So you treated me like I didn't matter." The room was silent. Selim turned to the guests. "How many of you laughed when I ordered fries?" No one moved. "How many of you thought I didn't belong here?" Still nothing. "That's the problem," Selim said. "You all did. Because I didn't look rich. And in places like this, that's the only thing that matters." He picked up his phone. Tapped the screen. The massive flat screen above the bar flickered to life. Financial records. Spreadsheets. Bank transfers. Graves' name was everywhere. Naira's eyes widened. Tips. Wages. Vendor payments. All rerouted. All stolen. Graves had been skimming for months. And the numbers on the screen showed exactly where the money had gone. Offshore accounts. Luxury cars. Real estate in the Hamptons. Graves stumbled backward. "This is a mistake." "No," Selim said. "This is theft." He turned to Naira. "Check your account. Your tips from the last 6 months. Naira pulled out her phone. Opened her banking app. Her hands shook as she scrolled. Hundreds of dollars. Missing. Her brother's medical bills flashed in her mind. All those nights. All those shifts. All that money she thought she'd earned. Gone. Stolen by the man standing in front of her. Graves fell to his knees. Please. I can fix this. Selim looked down at him. You stole from people who couldn't afford to lose $1. Sirens wailed outside. Blue and red lights flashed through the windows. Naira's chest felt like it was caving in. What just happened? And why does she feel like her entire life just changed? The police walked in. 2 officers. Badges out. Eyes sharp. Graves scrambled to his feet. This is a misunderstanding. One of the officers held up a tablet. Graves ardent. Graves froze. You're under arrest for embezzlement, wage theft, and fraud. The room erupted. Guests stood. Phones came out. Flashes went off. Naira stood in the middle of it all, unable to move. The officer turned to Selim. We'll need your statement, Mr. Rourke. Selim nodded. Then he looked at Naira. Come with me, he said quietly. She followed him out of the dining room, through the kitchen, into a small office in the back. The door closed. Silence. Selim sat down. Gestured for her to do the same. Naira's legs gave out. She collapsed into the chair. I don't understand, she whispered. You're not supposed to, Selim said. That's the point. He leaned forward. I've been trying to figure out who was bleeding this company dry for 6 months. Audits didn't work. Surveillance didn't work. So I went undercover. Naira stared at him. I dressed down. Came into my own restaurant. And waited to see who would treat me like a human being. He paused. You did. Naira's throat tightened. You didn't know who I was. You didn't know I had money. You just saw someone who needed help. And you helped. Tears burned her eyes. Graves didn't, Selim continued. He saw someone beneath him. And he tried to humiliate me in front of a room full of people. He stood. Walked to the window. That told me everything I needed to know. If he treated me like that when he thought I was powerless, imagine how he treated everyone else. Naira thought of the missing tips. The late paychecks. The times she'd been written up for things that didn't make sense. You were right, Selim said. He was stealing. From you. From every worker in this building. And he was using my company to do it. He turned to face her. I'm sorry. Naira looked up. For what? For not seeing it sooner. She didn't know what to say. Selim pulled an envelope from his desk. Set it in front of her. This is everything he stole from you. With interest. Naira opened it. A check. For $18,000. Her hands shook. That's not all, Selim said. I want you to run operations here. At Meridian Prime. And eventually, across the entire group. Naira's breath caught. You saw me when no one else did, Selim said. That's the kind of person I need leading this company. Outside, the sirens faded. Inside, Naira felt something break open in her chest. Hope. But will she take the offer? Or is there something she hasn't told him yet? Naira stared at the check. $18,000. The number didn't feel real. She'd seen amounts like this before. On bills. On hospital statements. On screens she couldn't afford to pay. But never in her hand. Never with her name on it. Selim was watching her. Waiting. She looked up. I can't take this. His eyebrows lifted. Why not? Because it feels like charity. It's not charity, Selim said. It's what you earned. What he stole. Naira's fingers tightened around the paper. Her mind was racing. Zev. The hospital. The bills piling up like gravestones. Dr. Okoye's voicemail still sitting unheard in her phone. This money could save him. But something inside her resisted. What do you want from me? She asked. Selim leaned back in his chair. The truth. About what? Why you helped me. Naira blinked. You were a customer. So was the woman at table 7. You didn't defend her. The words landed hard. Naira looked down. She didn't need defending. And I did. She hesitated. You looked like you were being tested. Selim's eyes sharpened. What made you think that? The way you sat. The way you watched everyone. Like you already knew what was going to happen. Silence. Then Selim smiled. Slow. Genuine. You're right, he said. I did know. And you passed a test most people fail. Naira felt her chest tighten. I need people like you, Selim continued. People who see others as human. Not as transactions. He stood. Walked to the window overlooking the Hudson. The lights of the city stretched out like stars. Graves wasn't the only one, Selim said quietly. There are more. In Boston. Miami. Seattle. People who think wealth gives them permission to treat others like dirt. He turned back to her. I want you to help me find them. And stop them. Naira's pulse quickened. You want me to be some kind of investigator? I want you to be honest. To lead. To show people what this company should actually stand for. The offer hung in the air like smoke. Naira thought of Zev. Thought of every double shift. Every humiliation. Every stolen tip. She thought of the woman who threw forks at her. And she thought of the man who said thank you. I'll do it, she said. Selim extended his hand. She shook it. And the world outside the window seemed to shift. But what Naira didn't know was that someone else had been watching the entire time. The screens went dark. Selim's office door opened. A woman stepped in. Mid-40s. Sharp suit. Tablet in hand. Her name was Imani Cross. Head of Internal Security for Rourke Hospitality Group. She didn't look at Naira. Only at Selim. We have a problem, Imani said. Selim frowned. What kind of problem? Imani tapped her tablet. The screen on the wall flickered back to life. Security footage. Graves. In the parking garage. 30 minutes before the police arrived. He was on his phone. Talking to someone. Imani turned up the volume. It's done, Graves said into the phone. Rourke just exposed himself. He's vulnerable now. We move tonight. The voice on the other end was distorted. Unrecognizable. Good. Make sure the files are wiped. All of them. Graves nodded. Already handled. The call ended. Naira felt her stomach drop. Selim's face hardened. What files? Imani swiped the screen. Another set of documents appeared. Financial records. Vendor contracts. Payroll data. All marked as deleted. He scrubbed the system before the police got here, Imani said. We have backups, but he knew where to hit. He knew our infrastructure. Selim's jaw clenched. He had help. Imani nodded. Someone on the inside. Someone with access. Naira's mind spun. How many people have that kind of access? Imani looked at her for the first time. 12. Including me. The room went cold. Selim walked to his desk. Pulled up a list on his computer. Names. Titles. Locations. We need to lock this down, he said. Now. Before whoever Graves was working with tries to finish what he started. Naira felt the weight of it pressing on her. What were they trying to do? Selim looked at her. Destroy the company. From the inside. Imani's phone buzzed. She glanced at it. Her expression changed. We have another problem, she said. Selim turned. What now? Someone just accessed your personal accounts. 10 minutes ago. Selim's face went pale. Which accounts? All of them. The screens lit up again. Bank transfers. Moving fast. Millions of dollars shifting across continents. Hong Kong. Singapore. The Cayman Islands. Naira watched the numbers blur. They're draining you, she whispered. Selim grabbed his phone. Dialed. Waited. No answer. He tried again. Still nothing. Imani stepped forward. We need to shut this down. Call the banks. Freeze everything. Selim nodded. But his hands were shaking. Naira had never seen a billionaire shake before. Who else knows about this? Naira asked. Imani looked at her. Just us. And whoever's on the other end of those transfers. Naira's mind raced. Graves was in custody. But he wasn't working alone. Someone else was still out there. Someone with power. Access. And a plan. And they were watching. Who is behind this? And how deep does this go? The phone rang. Selim answered. Put it on speaker. A voice. Calm. Cold. Hello, Selim. Selim's face went white. Marcus. Naira looked at Imani. Imani's expression was stone. You know who this is, the voice continued. And you know what I want. You're stealing from me, Selim said. No, Marcus replied. I'm taking what should have been mine. Silence. You built this empire on my back, Marcus said. My ideas. My connections. And then you pushed me out. Selim closed his eyes. You tried to cook the books. You put the entire company at risk. I tried to make us rich. You tried to break the law. Marcus laughed. Low. Bitter. The law. Right. You always cared about the law. About fairness. About doing the right thing. He paused. And where did that get you? Sitting in a restaurant pretending to be poor while your COO robbed you blind. Naira felt her pulse spike. Marcus continued. Graves was useful. But sloppy. I needed someone who could stay close. Watch you. Report back. Selim's voice dropped. Who else is working for you? Wouldn't you like to know? The line went dead. Imani grabbed her tablet. Started typing furiously. I'm tracing the call, she said. Selim turned to Naira. You need to leave. Now. Naira shook her head. I'm not going anywhere. This isn't your fight. You made it my fight when you gave me that check. Selim stared at her. I know what it's like to be stolen from, Naira said. I know what it's like to work for nothing. To be invisible. To watch people take what's yours and smile while they do it. Her voice cracked. You gave me a chance. The first real chance I've ever had. So I'm not walking away. Selim's expression softened. Imani looked up from her tablet. Got it. The call came from inside the building. Naira's blood ran cold. What floor? Selim asked. Imani's face went pale. This one. The three of them turned. The office door was closed. But the handle was turning. Who's on the other side? And will they make it out alive? The door opened. A man stepped in. Tall. Gray suit. Familiar face. Darnell Coke.